Hey y'all, we are in day 17 of our 21-day challenge. And again, I'm gonna do my best to use some jazz hands and keep this interesting because we're talking about digital stuff. So there's not a lot to show you. And just for privacy purposes, I don't necessarily wanna show you my phone, but I will do or my computer for instance, but I'll do my best to describe things well and then just let me know what questions you have. So we talked yesterday about email and managing our email inboxes and all that fun. So today we're kind of still in maybe the computer sphere of things. We're talking about your browser bookmarks. So that's going to be like if you use Internet Explorer or Safari or whatever you might be, the bookmarks that you're tracking, we're going to make your life a little easier, making sure that that's easy to access and showing the things that you want access to frequently. We're also going to be talking about your desktop layout, so making sure that that's also streamlined in what's there, that it's not having 17,000 different things that were downloaded once upon a time that you've not touched in years. So we're going to clean up that background desktop area. And then we're also going to be talking just a little bit about your digital files. Now, this is the stuff that's already on your computer. We're just, again, managing the files in there. We're gonna get to paper. So in case you're like, well, when are we gonna get to that and talk about digital filing? I'm gonna give you my nuggets for that in the next couple of days. And believe me, it could be like an entire webinar workshop. So I'm gonna keep it as bite-sized as possible. So when it comes to your bookmarks, again, I want it to be where you're not scrolling over. So we want to keep just enough categories at the top of your web browser. So whether that's Firefox, Mozilla, or Internet Explorer, or Safari, or whatever it is, and they have bookmarks listed at the top, keep it to where you're not scrolling right. So you may need a couple of categories and just clean it up. I'm sure it's been a while since you've cleaned it up and you just need a chance and a reason and someone like me telling you, hey, go clean up your web bookmarks, and making sure that they're the things that you're still using and stuff that you do frequently access. So that way you're not typing in your bank website all the time. Make sure that any like credit card that you have to pay or bank loan or car payment or whatever, all those different websites that you visit frequently, just save them. Save them right there. So that way when you're going to pay bills, it's all really easy. And keep them in categories so that way you're not scrolling over. And just keep it simple. You don't have to go big on naming these something special. Just keep it, one word, what comes to mind when you think of this and what will make sense for you. So if it's finance, great, finance. If it's just money, call it money. So that's when it comes to your web bookmarks. So that kind of like parlays just a little bit. We're going to talk about your backdrop, so your desktop when you open, or if you're on a laptop, that backdrop area that is what they call desktop, even if you're on a laptop. We want to clean that up. We want to make sure that it doesn't have a lot of random stuff. Usually people have like a pretty picture or something, and we just want to make sure you can see that nice thing and keep it. And again, it's not that you can't have those shortcuts, because that's what those are called, those shortcuts there, but just make sure that there are a few. And usually we're not accessing files terribly often. So maybe it's just one particular file group that we're into. Maybe it's just photos. But again, just clean it up, just declutter it, delete stuff that you don't need or move it into a file if you know, like, oh, I don't really need a shortcut to this, really old photo document, whatever it might be. So yeah, so we're gonna clean up that desktop, that background, whether your laptop or desktop itself, it's still called desktop, which again, parlays just a little bit into the files on your computer. So again, keep it simple, keep the names short, and keep as few as possible. Obviously the search bar is really helpful, so we don't have to get uber detailed. You can have like finances and you can call it 2019, and you can maybe have one or two, you could say medical and bank. And maybe those are the only files that you have in that line. So again, keep it as simple as possible, because that search bar, again, just naming your documents really well can help so that you're not always not having, and again, most people don't have like an overwhelming, at least not as much nowadays as that would have been maybe 20 years ago, as far as documents on your computer saved. And so save it well, save it as something you would search for if you were looking for that document, and then just keep those files streamlined. I think my first page only has different categories, and I try not to keep more than 8 categories even as I dive down. And then when I'm into something with a bunch of documents, you can have as many as you want. Like if it's all photos, that's you know, get to year and then call it a day. If you get a little farther than just by year, great, good, that's awesome. But do your best to make that. And again, remember the goal isn't like this most perfect of organized files sorting on your computer. It's just that it doesn't stress you out and you can find what you need when you need it. That's it. That's the goal. That is always the goal. You can find what you need when you need it, whether it's a digital thing or a physical thing. That is the goal. So I hope that helped. I will be back tomorrow with another digital organizing day. All right, good luck.